If you drive around Abuja and you park, you see some people just come to you quickly. You have to pay. State will say they want to be creative in generating money. The only thing on their head is to increase taxation.
The new policy on taxes by the federal government presents potential stimulus for business owners. In this session of our explainers, where we break down the latest developments in our country's policies and their impact on everyday life, we take a look into the federal government's recent move to exempt small businesses, manufacturers, and farmers from paying withholding tax. I am Frances Oti. Welcome to this edition. The President Ahmed Bola Tinubu-led administration seems to be firing on all cylinders in their quest to ease the burdens of Nigerians. Recently, the federal government approved the exemption of small businesses, manufacturers, and farmers from paying withholding tax as a way of reducing the tax burden on businesses. If you were wondering what is withholding tax, withholding tax is an important concept in taxation that involves deducting a portion of an individual's or company's income at the source before they receive their full payment. That means if as a teacher you earn 50,000 naira, your employer is required by law to deduct 10% of your salary, that is 5,000 naira, and remit it to the relevant tax authority. Now, with this new tax regime, you get to keep your full salary to yourself, no deductions. In a bid to help you understand how this proposed exemption benefits small businesses, manufacturers, and farmers, Dr. Aliyu Ilyas, an economist and development expert, discusses how this new tax regime will benefit the contemporary Nigerian and also impact government tax revenues.
The small business holder is going to help farmers to actually scale in their business, because if you ask me, Nigeria has been taxing poverty. Recall this law that they want to work on, or the act, was 1978, 1979, and those things are giving us to the colonial leaders then. So we are supposed to have moved beyond those levels and make sure that we do it the way that will benefit people. I think that's what this one came to. So, and we must call this committee, and we must also score the president, because it's quite surprising. If I will score him, this is the only thing I would say he has done that will actually make Nigerian citizens to actually breathe.
This new tax regime will allow small businesses to reduce their administrative burden and focus on growth. This is a major relief for small businesses that previously faced excessive compliance requirements, straining their working capital. While the exemptions and reduced rates may result in a short-term decline in tax revenue, Dr. Ilyas believes this will be offset by improved compliance and increased economic activity in the long run.
Also look at most taxes that are collected are not coming to government coffers. So with what government want to do now, they want to digitalize the process of paying tax. For instance, let's look at vulcanizer. Vulcanizer on the streets is expected to pay a level of tax. But if the vulcanizer is being approached by ordinary street urchin, they will not remit all the money as it were. But if it's government, you would have said, okay, you will give you a moratorium of 3 months to pay 3,000 tax per year. You can pay 1,000 every year, and you pay. Don't pay to anybody cash. Go to a particular bank or transfer to this account. By the time you pay, you will now receive a message. This to confirm that you have paid the tax. And by the time any revenue collecting agency comes to you, equally show that I've actually paid. This would have breached the issue of maybe tax not remitted to the appropriate confine. So if it is well structured, government will get much more. In fact, there's a proposal to state government. What they are proposing now is that the VAT will now come to federal government directly, and government will now give states 90% of their tax back. So they are now giving them an incentive now that don't collect, because it's a double taxation.
Another question you may ask is, does this policy change align with the government's broader economic growth and development agenda?
Yes, that's what a good example in South Africa. If you earn 400,000, you are not to pay tax. Imagine that level. So that means you have more money to do other business, and government will now tax those that have more. Let's give you an example. Do you listen to Dangote saying that with the way things are going now, that's a message from the elite that the way government is actually increasing interest rates and taxing people is going to bring about low business. People will not want to do business because if you know that you are going to be taxed, you are going to pay a lot for money that you borrow, you think it's better I keep my money.
The chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, in a post on his official X handle on Tuesday, July 2nd, said the federal government has also introduced key changes to the previous tax regime. It has introduced measures to curb tax evasion and minimize tax avoidance. The reforms will also simplify the process for businesses to obtain credits and utilize tax deducted at source, improving liquidity. The Tax Advisory Committee also recommended that governments at national and subnational levels do away with over 60 taxes, leaving only 8 taxes. These 8 taxes are the income tax, value-added tax, property, custom duties, excise tax, stamp duties, and special and harmonized levy. While the newly approved business-friendly tax regime promises a breather for Nigerians, we can only hope that the government ensures complete compliance and is prepared to prevent any unforeseen events. We would love to hear your thoughts. You can join the conversation in the comment section below. Thank you for watching.